Good morning from Hammertown. I'm Adam Gills for Poison Spider Customs, and this is the 2014 Griffin King of the Hammers.
Good luck. Good luck.
Due to my mishap during qualifying, we started pretty near the back of the pack, and that's not where you want to be, obviously. And our goal during that first lap, which is roughly 50 miles, and most of it all high-speed desert section, our goal was to pass as many cars as we could before we got to the first rock section. And this car really shines in the desert, so we were pretty confident we'd be able to get a few positions, if not more, during that first lap. And it did awesome. We probably passed a dozen or two cars before we came in the first pit. As we were pulling into the first pit, though, we noticed that the temperatures were starting to get a little hot. We let the crew know we were having some issues. They looked the best they could in the few seconds we were there, couldn't find anything, and they sent us out on our way. Unfortunately, before we even left the infield, it started sputtering and went into limp mode. And this is a no-chase race. And once you leave the pits, you're basically on your own. And even though I was within 100 feet of the pit, I couldn't turn around and go back to that pit. My only option if I wanted outside help was to go another 50 miles through every single rock course to the next pit. So once we left there, we thought, it's in limp mode. we'll just keep driving until it doesn't drive anymore. And at mile 55, it didn't drive anymore. It finally just died. So less than 5 miles after leaving pit 1 and less than 5 miles into lap 2, we thought our race was over. The car died. Greasy jumped out like a good co-driver does, popped the hood to see if he can figure out what was wrong, and only took him a few seconds to diagnose what the problem was. When we built Christie, of course, we wanted to make it as much Jeep as possible. We even ran the entire factory core support and grill system. Unfortunately, that was the undoing. The factory brackets that hold the radiator on had broken loose, and the only thing holding the radiator on at that point was the upper and lower radiator hoses. That allowed the radiator to bounce around inside the engine compartment and beat itself to death. So at this point, we're done. We can't take outside help. The radiator's beat to death, but just in Poison Spider fashion, we didn't give up.
Larry, we can take the radiator out of Northridge. We'll have them go ahead and do it then? Have them take it out to 2? 2A. Spider-Man, this Greasy. We're going to try to plug this little crack, and I mean, it's mounted like hell, so we're going to need probably some of the mounting, the upper rubber mounting stuff. But yeah, go ahead and take that thing out, and if you get it to pit 2A, I'll buy you lunch.
So at this point, both Greasy and I are out of the car, trying to determine what we had with us that we could use to make the repair. The radiator had several leaks in it, and we had limited supplies. So we had a small bottle of stop leak. We tried that to begin with, poured some water in it, and it continued to leak. Greasy had some chewing tobacco. We put that in there. We had a couple of cigarettes that we threw in there, and none of that was working. So we determined that the only way we were going to fix this was with our 2-part epoxy. That required taking the grill out, of course, taking the radiator out, mixing the epoxy up, trying to get it sealed, and waiting for the epoxy to dry. That process took several hours, actually. The entire process of repairing the radiator, putting it in, testing it, taking it back out, re-repairing it, putting it back in, took a total of 3.5 hours. But we finally got the radiator back in, zip tied together. We'd used epoxy, we had used rescue tape, and it was holding just enough water where we thought we could get to the next pit. We had emptied our Camel packs, we had emptied all the drinking water we had on the Jeep, and at this point we still had 50 miles, the toughest part of the race course, to go before we even saw our crew again. With a 3.5 hour breakdown in the middle of a race like this, it was going to make it very tough, if not impossible, to finish, but there was no way that we weren't going to keep driving until we either timed out or the car stopped running.
So about I don't know, half a mile back, it started feeling like we were in two-wheel drive, and basically we were, because that driver axle let loose first, I think, and then so you know, with the air locker off, it was basically two-wheel drive, and he kept checking the levers. It was like, no, it's in four-wheel drive. And we're like, well, that's not a good sign.
Right.
And then we got to the rocks, and I saw my tire grabbing, and then the next set of rocks, they quit grabbing, and
Just, you know, we're probably, the CVs were really set up for the desert. They worked great in it, and we got to the rocks, and I don't think they were really large enough for what we needed. But man, we had such a great run in the desert. It was just picking them off one at a time, and everything felt really good.
and we weren't driving over our heads.
Nah.
Just the car is really solid in the desert.
Oh, it was trophy truck material. We hit a couple of big holes that were in the dust, and man, it popped through them like nothing. We never bottomed out. We were super fast, had a great time. It was just really a excellent run going until then. So we're gonna keep helping people spot through here. We'll spend the day just spotting people up and making sure people don't have problems trying to be good racers, so that it comes back to everybody someday. I'm gonna go help these guys. Setting this up for you, Larry McRae. You owe me one. Guys, and they can walk over to his pit.
Our antenna's gone.
But
I tried calling KOH Relay.
Rage Force race car to pit. You guys have a copy.
Any steering fluid? 1 quart. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. on.
We have any in the pits?
Whatever you got, let's go. Thank you. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Larry.
Okay, Sherry, long wait. Now at least we know that he's back up and running again. Give everybody a little update on what's going on with Crispy.
All right. Well, he came into the main pit after after the desert section, the first round, and they said that they didn't have brakes, and it was kind of hot. Julio was reaching around, and it wasn't hot around the radiator, so we knew something was kind of weird, but we weren't sure exactly what it was. So we sent him out, and he got 2 miles out of the main pit, and he said that the radiator had broke from its mound, and there was a leak. So they stopped. They were trying to figure out how to get the radiator back, figure out put some stuff in it to stop it from leaking.
Yeah, some JB Weld fixed it up.
Weld. They zip tied it, back in place, and they took off, and it was still in limp mode. So I know that Larry, there was bottles of water inside the vehicle, and Larry had a camel pack, and so they put more water in it, and it took them a while to figure out, trying to reset the computer, what was it exactly, but it sounds like they were able to, get water back into it, and it stopped being in limp mode, and they could continue on. But that was, I don't know, a couple hour ordeal or something.
Well, they don't call it the toughest single day off-road race on the planet for nothing, right?
Yeah, it's been a hard day so far.
But we're still in it.
We're still in it. Hey, that's racing, right?
pretty tight. There's a total cluster here at the top of Aftershock right now, so people are trying all kinds of alternate lines, just trying to get somewhere. What up, bud? There's 17. Well, we've got one in here. So yeah, it's a complete cluster in there. Everybody's trying all these alternate lines, and there's a whole lot of impatience going on. You know, when you're in these super tight rock sections like this, and you gotta kind of stay off the person's ass a bit, because there's a lot of backing up. These cars don't wheel as good as you know, a full-blown, you know, rock buggy. They're just long, they don't steer as good, so there's a whole lot of reversing you got to do. So anyway, had one guy on us that just kept on crawling right up our ass, and we're trying to get this alternate line. He ended up knocking us off our line right as we were getting up to get it, I think. And oh cool, there goes the Japanese guys. And then yeah, it just knocked us off, and we got wedged in and blew a berth up here. Lucky for us, it's the side that we can change, because the other side's stuck in there right now. So we need the 17? Yeah.
Got the lap, or pit 2A, the crew looked at it and said our fix was still holding, and that we still had all of our water, our temperatures looked good, so now we're back to race pace. chances of finishing with a 3.5-hour breakdown were pretty reduced, but the amount of traffic we encountered, the amount of breakdowns we encountered, really limited our odds, or reduced our odds. But again, we did not want to give up. We were going to keep racing this car as long as it held together, and as long as there was still time left on the clock. And about 9 o'clock, that's when that ran out.